This report is in conflict with a research document under Afrobarometer. At some point, when I looked at this particular report, I thought the author was operating under the influence of alcohol.
What's up? My name is Ken Dumbo, the MC with the sauce. Don't forget to subscribe to JQ.
Having dealt with issues that relate to the address and national mourning, I want to further take this opportunity to give a response to the alleged UN report. I'm sure a number of you reached out to us seeking comments. We restrained ourselves, media houses know themselves, that we were waiting for this particular national mourning to come to an end. And we indicated to you that in due course we'll start discussing this matter. From our view or political standpoint, this is how we view this particular statement. Our belief is that this particular report is lopsided, lacks merit, it's misdirected at law, and is a sign of lack of seriousness from the people that authored it. Because we know that the UN does not unilaterally mostly author those statements. They would engage people. Some of us have lecturing backgrounds of research, and we do know that what they conduct is not a research because it is normally targeted. They depend on reports, so people giving reports, either true or false, then they'll publish. I think that should be made very clear. True or false, they will do what? They will publish. Now, why we do not agree with the report, from a political standpoint ourselves, is that, number one, where the reporter says that they believe people should not be arrested for sedition, cyber crime, hate speech, is total blackmail. Because even the reporter herself, where she comes from, there is a law on sedition. Go online, you find it. They have cyber laws. Actually, they enacted them earlier than us. And it is an embarrassment to the authors of the report because the UN, United Nations, is the one that convened a convention under trade and commerce to pass a law on cybersecurity. I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from. So we cannot have a report which assaults the very institution that passed a convention. Basically, a convention is international law. I have not seen one country that has no law on sedition. Just 5 months ago, a man was sentenced to 5 years in prison in USA for sedition. Sedition is actually close to treason. Very close. Because criminal law seems to be, we have a lot of shared grounds when it comes to crime. Similarly, we have laws on cyber security. All our surrounding countries go online. You remember last time we had a press conference, have cyber laws. Because in terms of conducting the interaction, human beings rarely interact physically. They are interacting electronically. And because they are interacting electronically, laws have been put in place to regulate interactions electronically. And these are referred to as cyber laws or electronic laws. So, hate speech. Almost all the countries have a law against hate speech. You go to Rwanda, you see what hate speech caused. And here you've heard of the Holocaust, huh? Go to other nations, you see what hate speech has caused. What are we saying? The report is lopsided because it is a direct assault on Zambia's sovereignty. Because it is attacking our laws. If the report has to be in the manner that we expect it to be, they must list even 5 names or 2 names of individuals that have been convicted of a particular offense for no law broken. That's what the UN focuses on when they look at violation of human rights, where people are arrested and convicted for not breaking any law. The report is not demonstrating a single incident of a Zambian who is in prison today for not breaking any law. That's how lopsided it is. Those that have been convicted for hate speech, it is because our laws in the country criminalize hate speech, just like the laws of the people that prepared that particular report. At some point, when I looked at this particular report, I thought the author was operating under the influence of alcohol. But then, when again I checked, I was wondering whether there were legal hands involved, because if a lawyer was involved, they could have known that the UN is a mother of cyber laws. The UN is a mother of sedition. Most of the countries which are member states merely domesticate those laws. Even the so-called human rights, you know that the UN is far ahead of Zambia. There are certain things they call rights which you do not call rights here, because we have rejected them. They have made many laws, including same-sex marriage laws that support same-sex. We have rejected them. So if today they wake up, the same people, to come and begin assaulting our laws, then we have so many things to worry about. So that said, we want to implore the media to help citizens when we are having conversations. That give me 5 names of people who have been convicted and you believe there is no law that was broken. Then we will conclude there was a trumped-up charge. And then give us a case of a trumped-up charge. Friends, let us be fair. I'll give you an example. I'm sure you have seen the insults directed openly at President HH. Tell me which African state is insulted in that manner by their national. Even one. You won't find it. A person makes a page and he's being praised by politicians. You tell me one. Not even in the States. Not even in Europe. Not even in our neighboring countries. They will arrest you. Here, you want to glorify lawlessness and call it democracy. I don't think that's the way to go. We have only one Zambia. Out of hate speech, if this country goes into frames, all of us will run, including those that are insulting. If you remember, if you look at the Rwanda genocide, you read, people who have visited there have had an opportunity to visit museums to see bones of human beings. All of us are aware that there is a reason we have our Rwandese friends in this country who have refused to go back. We know the reason. So, by promoting what this speech is attempting to do, we may end up dividing our country. So as far as we are concerned, we are on firm ground. If you want to get more information, visit other countries like Asian countries and check what laws they have put in place when to regulate social media. I'm sure most of us are aware that even before the Cyber Security Act was enacted, which is part of the report, you are aware that when you want to report someone who has used your pictures, you report to Facebook. Do you know the laws that Facebook uses to punish such people? It is the laws for the United States of America. It's the cyber laws for the United States of America. And when you look at some of the grounds for reporting, they even suggest for you. They will put hate speech, scamming, cyberbullying. Now, those are the things that the UN report is insulting. And that's unfortunate. Now you understand my point of departure. So, if you are able to report a person who uses your pictures, and then after they've used your pictures, they are using those pictures to scam others. When they are arrested, then it should be a problem. What kind of thinking is that? So, we need to protect Zambia's sovereignty as citizens. We need also to accept or reject what comes from people that don't live here, if at all it doesn't make sense. Because they are not Zambians. If they are going to talk about things that don't exist, we will not accept them. So where we stand, we reject that report. It is misguided, it is blackmail, it is malicious. How is it that the report is different from the IMF and the World Bank? How is it that the report is different from the position of the European Union? Because on the basis of improved human rights record, the EU, including the fight against corruption, the EU resumed financing Zambia's budget. The UK resumed, among other reasons, an improvement in the fundamental rights and freedoms of citizens. One, no media has been closed. Under the UN Charter, media freedom is taken as a human right. Number two, those extrajudicial killings you were seeing from time to time are a thing of the past, which were mostly propagated by political pundits, moving with machetes and registered guns, setting other people's homes ablaze, putting up torturing centers called Apakamugodi. Those are a thing of the past because the president, upon resuming office, brought the country to order and sent a message to, starting with the UPND members, that should any one of you attack PF members in markets and bus stations, and if you have to attack them, you must start by first of all getting rid of me as your president. That was his position. And he made it very clear no one should be chased from the market and bus stations. And reminded UPND members that when we were being elected, we promised citizens to bring these things to an end. And this is why, even when you are seeing PF misbehaving, taking advantage of the funeral, insulting, calling people names on social media, most of the members were quiet because they know the position of the party. So how can someone wake up and say there is violation of human rights? So you can see this report is in conflict with a research document under Afrobarometer published early last year, which favored Zambia at the top among the countries that were sampled, about 23 countries. In terms of, Zambia was seen as the most democratizing country, even early this year. When you are a democratizing country, among other fundamental issues that are looked at are human rights. Now I told you that this is not usually research, but it is a report based on people submitting reports, true or false. Remember that before the reporter came, there were reports of extrajudicial killings, which are not in the report, which was a total lie. So now, I should mention very clearly that I think we have the right to defend ourselves when we are accused wrongly. We are aware of some media houses, it's their freedom, who said Zambia found guilty. They should also not abuse terms. The UN is not a court. The UN is not a court. There is an International Court of Justice. There is the ICC. There is also an International Criminal Court, among others. International Court of Justice deals with disputes between countries. ICC with crime against humanity. UN is not a court to find government of the Republic of Zambia guilty. And there is no guilt because they have failed to prove a prima facie case in the first place. Right at face value. The things that they are raising are non-issues. So they are declaring themselves irrelevant to the growth of our democracy until they do what is right. So we will also not keep quiet as a party to see our government being insulted without a reason. Where they were supposed to be praising our president, they are attacking him as well. So we are questioning the authorship of that report. We are questioning the authorship of that report. We thought we needed to bring these things into context. We love our country, and this is our country. This is the only country we have. A country must have order. I want to repeat by saying, you must be very naive to think that the way our president is being insulted today here is what is happening in other countries. Go to Botswana and do the same.
Let me know what you think about this video. Thanks for tuning in to JQ News. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the latest updates on tech, politics, and everything in between. Until next time, stay cool.